to be a street photographer, you also have to be a psychologist. If you look scared and afraid of people, people are gonna notice you more.
All right, we're back with another episode of Walkie Talkie. Today we got Francesca. Francesca.
Hi everyone.
How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Can you introduce yourself for the people?
I'm Francesca Chiacchio from Naples, Italy. I've been doing street photography since 2017. And I like shooting in Naples, but also in other cities around Italy and Europe as well.
Yeah, where are we today?
We are in Napoli. We are in Spanish quarters right now at the Maradona Square, and because I usually look for places with the crowds, so this is the best place to come if you want to shoot street photography.
Cool, let's go. Let's get shooting.
Okay.
How often are you out shooting here?
Not much. Not much.
Is that always been the case, or is it kind of like you were shooting a lot and then you slowed down, or?
No, actually, I don't like going around Naples by myself. So I usually do when somebody comes, and while I do workshops, I rather going outside Naples to shoot. And lately, actually, I'm trying to do more like reportage, documenting events in Italy and in Europe in general, because there is a lot of tradition in Italy. So I'm trying to work more on subjects in order to do like a reportage. I'm not crazy about the single shots anymore. I like building up stories.
You said, so you say you're not into single images that live by themselves? Yeah, okay.
I've done that for many years. Like, I've been shooting since probably 2016, 17. And I'm kind of, bored with, the single shot.
What camera do you use? The Fuji X-T30. And the lens? What focal length?
18.
18?
27.
27? Okay, so nice and like good. Make it 28 basically, yeah. That's nice. What settings are you typically shooting on with that? Is it like shutter priority, aperture priority, full manual?
I do full manual.
Full manual?
Yeah. I usually put the ISO and the shutter speed, and I just change sometime the focus length.
The flash? What flash is that?
And the flash, it's flash Q20. Oh. So usually I like being in the crowds,
Yeah, your frames are typically like very filled, very packed. Was it always that way, or is that something you kind of evolved into?
No. I've been learning to do that. I mean, that's what I like, so that's what I try to do now. But before I was very shy, so it was hard for me to approach people and to get close to people. Mm-hmm. But now I'm kind of comfortable. But of course, situations where people don't notice me are the best. That's why I usually come in these kind of places where there are a lot of tourists, a lot of people around.
How did you build up the confidence to get to that point?
I think it's something that you get used to, because before I was afraid, when people were getting upset, I didn't know what to say, and I got kind of scared. But now, I usually give them compliments or give them reasons why I'm shooting them, and smile. I smile a lot. So I think it's something that you learn learning by doing, really. So there is no a particular trick you have to use, but it's more like about getting used to. More you photograph, the more you are confident. But I think that's in general.
Yeah.
No, I can stay here for hours.
Yeah.
Let's walk around.
You mentioned that you started to take photos with packed frames or fill frames because that's what you liked in photographs. Who were some photographers that shot that way that introduced you into that way of thinking or shooting?
I don't know, it's more like that my taste changed at one point. My mentor is Vinit Vora. I've been doing several workshops with him, so I learned by him. So how to compose, how to be clean on frames. But I was influenced a lot also by, I guess, Julia Coddington. She's from Australia. She's actually the founder of Unexposed, which is a female collective that promotes female street photography in the world. And she's also one of the team members of Women in Street. I think I knew Julia's photography since the beginning, almost. The inspiration usually, are always the same. Like, I love Martin Parr, that's my favorite photographer. So that's probably why I use flash. Even though I use flash in a different way from him, because it usually light up the space all in the same way, while I try to focus the light only on the subjects. And I also love Alex Webb, William Klein, like very famous ones. Yeah, but I also try to put some humor. Not as much as Martin Parr does, but with my eye in a different way. I think I'm also very attracted to get the relationships between people. So I also try to connect people in the frame in a way that they relate to each other, and I try to build up stories. I also like doing portraits. I like street portraits. But I always prefer doing like group portraits. I like shooting youth a lot, young people, and whoever I think is beautiful. So I think it's more like showing the beauty from my eyes, what I see in people. And it doesn't have to be the canonical beauty, but it's more like personal beauty. Like sometimes you see people on the street and they feel beautiful. So if they feel beautiful, I see them beautiful.
Earlier I asked you how you built the confidence to get closer, but how about the flash? Because the flash is like, that's a whole new level of confidence.
I have to say that people get buried there even without flash, so I don't think it's about flash really. I don't think flash does a big difference. I think people get buried just because you approach them and you are stealing their image, their life, their moments of life. But yeah, maybe you're more noticeable, but if you do this, even without flash, people are gonna notice you anyway. So I don't think it's a big difference.
Yeah, what advice could you give somebody who's like maybe scared or apprehensive to start flashing people on the street? Because I think that for other people it's a big like oh, I don't want to do that.
Usually what I suggest is to go to places where there are a lot of tourists or during events. I think is the best way to learn using flash, because usually people that go to events, they want to be photographed. So they are happy if you photograph them. So I think that's the best way to learn how to use flash. I also like reflections a lot. It's interesting because you can put together a lot of layers. I would say I like complex frame rather than simple frame.
What's the hardest part of getting a good complex
The
frame?
hardest part is that people move very fast. So you have to be faster. So you have to learn how to be very fast. And also, sometimes I think you need to know where people are going. So try to predict the movements of people. Of course, it's easier if people they are standing. But if they move around, then it's going to be very hard, of course. But I've been learning a lot how to predict and also to be very fast, because otherwise you lose the moment. Sometimes you just pretend you're not shooting people if they ask you something. Depends, If I see them very upset, I pretend that I'm not shooting them. Looking around, shooting buildings.
Have you always shot with the Fuji?
Yeah. I used to have an XT20 and now I have the 30. Thinking about to get XT3 or 4 or 5, I don't know. I used the 5, but I didn't like it that much. The problem with this Fuji is that it's not tropicalized. So when it's raining, I usually don't shoot, which is a pain. I also think that it's important that you have to know who you can shoot. You can tell when people don't want to be shot. Beautiful.
How long did it take you to build that knowledge of who to shoot and who to not shoot? Were there some scenarios early on where you had to learn that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I've got a lot of bad reactions. So, especially in Naples, I can recognize when people don't want to be shot, because I know Neapolitan people. So I think it's important to also understand people from the way they move, the way they act, the way they look at you. Yeah. I always thought to be a street photographer, you also have to be a psychologist, psychotherapist or something like that. Because also, sometimes people start talking to you and they want to tell you stories, especially old Neapolitan people. But I think old people in general, maybe they want to tell you all their stories. It happened to me a lot. It's also good to be kind of sensitive.
Do you ever interact and then shoot?
No. I mean, it happens because sometimes if people understand that you're shooting them, they start talking. But I'd rather doing maybe later, after, because otherwise they're not going to be candid. I mean, the picture is not going to be candid. People are start posing. I think the confidence is very important, because you kind of transmit your confidence. So if you're confident, people are not gonna say anything. If you look scared and afraid of people are gonna notice you more. And that's what I actually realized on myself, because when I was very shy and much less confident, people were reacting much more. But now that I'm more confident, people react less. That's also what I always try to tell to my students, because I think that's the most difficult thing for street photography. People are afraid to approach a subject. So they look scared, they act scared, they position themselves in front of the subjects in a strange way that I will get scared as well.
If somebody wants to come to Naples to take street photography, what are some like checkpoints, some places they can go where like is good for street photography in general?
Historical center for sure. It's easier because there are a lot of tourists around, and so all these areas, and also the promenade, the waterfront is really good, especially during the summer. There is a small beach, and you can usually find people swimming. Of course, you have to be more careful because people don't want to be shot while they're in bikini. But I always try with the yacht because I think young people are easier to approach.
Do you ever have days where like you just are feeling like you don't have the confidence and you just go home, or like what do you do when you kind of feel self-doubt or you're not feeling it?
Yeah, sometimes you don't feel like shooting at all actually, and sometimes you're not able to get good pictures, so you get upset and you just want to go back. But usually when there is the sun out, I'm usually happy to go around. For me, it's very hard to shoot with the bad weather. I don't think I'm able to shoot with bad weather.
From your Instagram and from your website, it seems like you go to a lot of places to shoot.
Yeah, I like traveling a lot.
Is there a method, or how do you pick this or that city or country to go to?
Usually I look for events. So if there is some event that I want to shoot, then I plan and I go.
What's been, out of all your travels, what's been a notable city that you that kind of holds a special place in your heart because of photography?
Oh, well, I love Istanbul. I've been there for like 3 times, and I really love shooting in Istanbul. I think it's kind of easy, people don't react badly, and you got a lot of reflections. And you have the sea, you have the sun. I used to shoot in London a lot, a few years back, but I haven't been there since Brexit. New York, it's kind of hard. I was there a couple of years ago, and I kind of felt it was kind of hard doing street photography. People don't want to be shot, they don't like being photographed, so they always react. I didn't remember it was like that before. I don't know, I had a different feeling, and I used to shoot around and I didn't feel like, people were so suspicious.
Do you have any like theories on what caused that change?
I think also because of pandemic. I found New York totally different after pandemic, almost empty. Manhattan was almost empty.
What year did you go there?
I think it was 2023. Let's see if we can get down here. So this is my favorite shot. So if you want to take pictures of people diving in the water, that's the place. Ah, scusa.
Are you someone who likes to like camp out in one spot or like just shoot while you walk?
Depends. I mean, if I like the situation, I can stay. I don't have rules really. I don't like shooting walking while working much. So I rather stay in a place for a little bit. Yeah, but I have to like the situation. I like shooting with the Vesuvio in the back a lot because then you know where you are. You know that you are in Naples because Vesuvio is Naples. So I like contextualize, you know.
You used to live in New York.
Yeah,
You used to live in New York for like a decade, essentially, yeah?
yeah.
But that was before you started getting into street photography?
Actually, yeah, I was shooting photography, but I didn't even know what street photography was. And I wasn't including people in the frames much. I'm an architect, so I started taking pictures of buildings, more like visual, more like graphic pictures. A lot of urban photography. But I think through Instagram, I start realizing what street photography was, and I got close to the, let's say, the movement, even though it's been always around. So I think Instagram was really the media that got me into street photography because it's fast to connect, and I was able to connect with a lot of photographers, and to have the knowledge about also festivals. I went to a lot of festivals, and it was for me a way to meet people, to meet other photographers. Also this big community of female street photographers, like Women in Street and Women Street Photographers, because I start participating in contests, and I start doing exhibitions, like group exhibitions, because of them, through them. Then you get in the community. And once you are in the community, then you like it because there are people that share your same passion. I also like going around with other photographers, shooting together. It's a totally different thing. You are less concentrated, of course, but at the same time you have fun. So actually, I used to go around with a bunch of Italian photographers, street photographers. So we used to go to events together, and it was a lot of fun. But of course, the risk is that you get the same pictures, or at least similar pictures of other people. So maybe it's not the best way to photograph. So I start traveling by myself, but it's not as fun as with other people. But usually in events, you always find a lot of photographers, so you get to know other people anyway. I like meeting people. I like talking to people from other countries. I mean, I like Naples, but I can be in Naples because I travel. Otherwise, I couldn't stay here. Because especially after living for many years outside your city, I think you become it's like you don't have your home anymore. You are a citizen of the world. So I don't feel home here, I don't feel home there. It's that's fun. So that's why I need to travel.
How often are you traveling to places to shoot?
I try to travel at least every 2-3 months. Depends on the years, of course.
Yeah.
Depends on the time I have. I have a day job now since this year. I start teaching art in school, public schools. So now I have less time, probably.
Is there a Naples street photography community? Or is there a lot of photographers here? No?
I mean, there are photographers, but there is not really like a community. They're coming up. They're coming a lot of young people. But like old ones, I think we are 4 of us. One moved to another city, so now we are 3. In Rome, there are a lot of street photographers. They're very attached. They do things together. I like that. I miss that.
You wish you had more of that here?
Yeah. I've been trying, also with some of my students. I was like, let's go somewhere together, let's do things together. But it's also hard to find the time, the same time with different people. Especially when you do have another job. And also you have to be committed to street photography, which I don't think many people in Naples really are.
You mentioned a couple times students, so you teach workshops,
I
stuff
do,
like that?
yeah, I do workshops. I have a workshop next week here in Naples.
Is it always in Naples?
Have been in Naples sometimes when festivals invite me. I do in other cities. I'm organizing this one. I just came up with this one in Hamburg for the Pride in August. So I'm gonna go there. I'm trying to organize some other workshops elsewhere.
How long have you been doing that, like the workshops?
I like 3 years now.
When did you have the confidence to say, okay, I'm gonna start teaching people?
Oh, well, actually, when I started with 2 workshops in Rome because they asked me to. So that's how I started, because someone asked me to. And then once I did it, I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. So what I did was looking for a place to do workshop in Naples. And I contacted this photography school, whose name is Spazio Tangram, because I knew the founder of the association. And I asked him if he was interested in doing street photography workshop, because they didn't have any street photography teacher. So we started this collaboration, and we have been going on since. Yeah, I think it's for sure a couple of years. Yeah.
You also have you mentioned mentor, your mentorship
Yeah.
with Vinny, essentially. When should somebody, a photographer, seek out a workshop or seek out a mentor?
I don't know. I always like to learn. I think that you never finish to learn. You always have something to learn. So, and I'm also, a very curious person. And actually, as soon as I did the first one, I realized I had to learn more. So for me, doing workshops was meaning to learn. And once you see how much you learn through a workshop, then you realize how important it is, and you want to maybe do the next one. I think sometimes people think they can do by themselves. They can self-taught. I don't believe in that much. I think there are rules. I think there are, especially in composition. So it's important to know it. But some of the street photography around, it's not much about composition, but it's more like funny moments. I never been much into that. I'm not able to actually. It's not something I look for most of the times. And also, because of my background, architectural background, in designing homes, I always have been looking for composition. It really depends, but I think it's important to take workshops.
What are you currently trying to learn now?
No, as I said, it's not about learning. I don't think it's more about learning for myself. It's more about trying to build up stories, like long-term projects, and try to work on something I really care about. So that's what I'm looking for right now.
You kind of touched on like current or people who have been shooting in Naples like now. What about like historically speaking? Has there been like bodies of work or photographers from Naples that kind of stand out?
There is actually a lot of photography history in Naples, and even Magnum photographers used to come here a lot in the 60s, late 60s, 70s. Like I've seen work from Bruno Barberi, from Magnum. So people photographers used to come to Naples a lot. I know that Martin Parr was here lately. Bruce Gilden was here doing a photo project here.
Recently?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like last year. Bruce Gilden was here last year. Martin Parr did with the Neapolitan Gallery. He did a project on the beaches in the, on the islands, on the Amalfitan coast. And now, Naples got a lot of attention. So there are more street photographers coming, more like very well-known photographers coming. It looks like now Naples is the place to be. If you read around, you see that Naples is the most researched, probably, city for vacation. We didn't have tourism for many, many years. I grew up without tourists because we had a very bad reputation. So people were afraid to come to Naples. So we got attention, like media attention, since maybe 10 years because of some television series, or maybe because of Elena Ferrante's books. So since then, people started coming again. But it's been like this since maybe 10 years now.
Do you buy a lot of photo books?
Not a lot, but I do.
What are some recent ones that you picked up that have made an impact?
I like this photographer, this flash photographer, Teriyoshi, and he did this. It's like a large zine. It's not like a book with cats, but they're, like very ugly cats on the streets. I love his way of shooting. I usually buy more like, if I go to a museum, if I see the book. I barely buy online.
Finish a sentence. I take photos because.
I don't want to be rhetoric, but I would say because I love it. I don't have an explanation really. Makes me happy to take pictures. I wouldn't know what to do without taking pictures, It's more like a way, a lifestyle. It's more like something that completes yourself. I feel more complete, that's for sure. I don't write. I don't like writing. I don't sing, I don't play any instruments, but I've always been into arts. And photography, for me, it's just my way of expressing myself. You know, sometimes people ask, like Vinito always asks this, would you take pictures if no one is going to see it? But it's hard to answer that because it's hard to imagine our life without sharing whatever we do. I don't think right now we can answer, a question in this way.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Walkie Talkie. Francesca, thanks for hanging out with me today.
Thank you for the interview and thank you for watching. If you like my work, you can find it, or if you don't know it, you can find it on www.francescachiacchio.com, or you can look for me on Instagram as Francesca Who.
Great.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Ciao.
Now when they see us in the streets, all they wanna do is take pics, and I'm like, okay.